Hello YouTube skaters. So today the question is, are Skatemental decks good? I have here an older model. It's about a year old. It's the Colden Ticket model. So apparently one in however many, who knows, has a golden ticket inside. So when you're done with the board, you focus it, and if you see a ticket, you win something. However, I have a really hard time imagining that there's actually a ticket in any of these boards. I think it's more just genius marketing. So I've never tried a Skatemental board before. My first impressions of it are, I hate the colors. I think it's an ugly gold and I hate the green under it. I don't mind green on the top, but it's just too much green and browny gold. Anyways, on this deck I'm riding Thunder 147s, and I've got some Bones 52s, and let's get into the specifics. You guys know I love to measure my board. It measures in at 8 3/16. Now it's labeled as an 8.125, which is 8 1/8. So it's a 16th bigger than what it says on the label. The length is 31 5/8, which would be labeled as a 31.6. And the wheelbase is 14 inches, which is a tiny bit small for me. I like it about 14 1/8 to 14 1/4. However, you need a 32-inch board to make that work nicely. So my first impressions on riding this deck is the wood's really stiff. Honestly, it feels very much like the Primitive wood. It could be the same factory. Now the shape, however, is a little bit different. It has more concave in it, which I actually really like. It helps me flick my heel flip tricks a little crisper and poppier. And the only thing I would change about it is the tail feels steeper than the nose. And the only thing I would change is I would increase the wheelbase 1/8 of an inch this way, which would help the nose feel steeper again. But this board was for Trevor Colden, not for me. So what I'm struggling a little bit with this board, because the nose doesn't feel quite steep enough, is things like really popping a crisp leveled out switch flip, getting a switch 3 flip all the way around, and generally like trying to level my board out really nicely with all my switch tricks. One way I've gotten around that a little bit is actually by using the tail, which feels weird. I never do that. So I'm 3 days in on this board. I'm starting to get used to it. Now let's try some flat ground stuff so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So those were all my first tries, so you get a more genuine idea of what I'm actually doing. Most of it's working out pretty nicely. 3 flips, well, you guys should just know I pretty much struggle on 3 flips with anything wider than a 7 3/4. It's part of how I learned my tricks back in the day on little 7.5s. I got lucky on that one. Now I don't have to waste 10 minutes on low battery trying to get that. That's enough of that trick. That's not the board, that's me. Yeah. That sucks. Let's try it off the tail. Okay, that was a perfect example of why I like the tail on this board better than the nose. Nose just doesn't feel steep enough, not responsive enough. There's that stupid nose again. Let's try it off the tail. Okay, this next one gets one try. Take it or leave it. Oh. Okay, so that clip is inclusive of everything, makes and fails, and I think it gives you a pretty good idea. I like the board. It would be way better if it was magenta, the wheelbase was an 1/8 bigger, there was an 1/8 more on the nose, and just generally then it would be my board, not Trevor Colden's. But as you guys can see, I wasn't struggling too hard. My solution for some of those tricks was simple. I popped them off the tail. So now the next thing we need to know is how long do the boards last? How long do they keep their pop? So unfortunately, I'm not really going to be doing any more on this video for about another 3 weeks, because in 3 weeks I should know, does the board keep its pop? And maybe we'll skate some ledges then. Okay, you guys, it's been about 9 days since I hurt my knee, and this is the only skate content I've got, so I'm not going to wrap up this review with a bunch of ledges and riding this for 3 more weeks to try and figure out if it keeps its pop. Why is there always sirens in my video? Okay, so I'm going to let you guys in on a page on a website that really helps me out a lot when looking at what boards to buy. So this is the Slap Woodshop thread, and just Google that, Slap Woodshop thread, and it's current right now. It's 2017. And it's going to show you which of your favorite companies are made in which factory. Because the thing is, there's only really maybe less than 10 manufacturers in the world, barring a bunch of real little obscure ones we don't know about, that manufacture all the big name brands. So for example, this skate mantle is made in the same place as the Primitive board. Now, what I noticed is this has the exact same feel as the Primitive board. Super hard, and I can tell that it's going to keep its pop for about 3 more weeks. So I don't even need to ride this board for another 3 weeks to review it. I just know by how it feels. It's made by Generator, Barebacks. They make also other brands like Deluxe. Now, there may be small differences in the way a board feels. For example, this board has more concave and a slightly steeper feel than a Primitive. So there's going to be small differences like that from brand to brand. Whereas I've noticed some real boards that I've tried have a really steep nose and tail, and honestly I can't wait to give those a try, because I'm really looking forward to trying them on a pair of Indies someday. So there's a little secret about skateboards, right? Like, when you're buying a brand, what you're buying is you're buying their marketing, you're paying for their riders, you're buying a graphic, and you're buying an image. So this is something that the skateboard companies aren't really going to tell you, right? That they're all made in the same place. A lot of them are going to have even the exact same models from company to company, and it's really just going to be about like what graphic you want on your board. So what I can tell from a week on this Skate Mental is that it's going to be a good solid board. So Skate Mental used to be made by Crailtap, which does Girl in Chocolate, which I'm personally not a fan of. I was a huge fan of those guys in the 90s and the early 2000s. They were my favorite skaters. It pains me to say bad things about the company, but I am not a fan of their boards. They mush out in a week. So until they do something about the quality of their boards, I'm not going to have good things to say about that, no matter how much I loved those guys as riders way back when. Another really cool site that I checked out, if you're interested in finding out the different stages of independent, you always hear people talking about what stage is what. And so this is news to me, but oh, now I got to look on my phone again. History of Independent Trucks, Silverfish Longboarding. So Silverfish Longboarding is the site, History of Independent Trucks, and it's got a breakdown of all the ones from stage 1 to stage 11. Some kids breaking bottles in the background. Anyways, so I found out these independents that I rode on the, what the heck was that board company called? Killing Floor. These are stage 9s. They're missing a little bit of metal in the base plate, and now these were kind of a problem. They used to, the base plates would crack. Nice. So I've now got some stage 10s that I got from my brother about 8 years ago. So I'm really behind. I'm only up to stage 10. These ones do not have the metal missing. Some people's kids. That's a really cool site to get to know the history of independent trucks. Now, You guys, it's gonna be a while before I can give you any skate content because my knee is still not that good. I went for a swim today and that actually felt pretty good, except that all the wibbly wabbly in the water kind of hurt my knee a bit. Riding a bike is feeling way better, so swimming felt great for everything else, but it's still a bit hard on the knee. I had to swim only with my arms. So I swam in the slow lane with all the old people and felt really cool because I was swimming faster than them with just my arms. Old people. So, my idea for my next video, here's what I think, guys. I really love the personal interaction that we get on the medium of YouTube. Now, we're at an interesting phase. I'm really only just getting close to 200 subscribers, and at this point it's still very small. And I see every single one of your guys' comments. I have the time to respond to every single comment, and my idea is, ask me anything you want to know about me, my opinions, anything, and if I think it's an appropriate question, I'll give you an answer in the next video. So that's my next idea. I'm gonna be away on vacation for about 5 days, so I'll have some time to think about all your guys' questions. I won't have internet access, so if you're not getting any responses online, that's why. I'm just away from the internet for about 5 days. I can still be reached by text, but you don't have my number. Anyways, I honestly do enjoy this. I love this interaction between me and the medium of YouTube and all you viewers. I think it's a really amazing thing us humans have created to be able to, I'm just simply sitting here. I'm staring into a lens, and yet this lens is gonna broadcast me out to basically the entire world. Although only a small, tiny portion of you guys are actually ever gonna see me at this point. I just want to take this opportunity in the early stages to answer some of the questions you guys have, and I know that some of them are probably going to be really interesting and thought-provoking. Thanks for watching, guys. Send me your questions in the comments. I'll do my best to answer any of them that seem reasonable. See you next time.